Hello, good people. Thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome back to the Daily Shiver Stories channel. How are you all today? I hope everyone is doing well and that all your affairs are going smoothly. Today, I want to share a tragic story that illustrates how love and trust can lead someone to make life-altering decisions. This is the tale of Tao Jing, a young woman who became ensnared in an international drug trafficking ring due to her blind love for a man with hidden motives. In our lives, we often face difficult choices that test our values and principles. However, for Tao Jing, these choices not only tested her morals but also put her life at risk. This story will take us through Tao Jing's journey, from a hopeful beginning to a tragic and heartbreaking end. It serves as a reminder that love, when accompanied by blind trust, can lead us down dangerous paths. Let's delve deeper into how Tao Jing, a girl with simple dreams, got caught in the dark web of the drug world, and how her decisions ultimately led her to a fate she never imagined. Let's get into the story. Today, we will discuss Tao Jing, the most beautiful death row inmate from China. China, or more commonly known as Tiancong nowadays, is a vast country, ranking third in the world in terms of land area, after Russia and Canada. Due to its extensive borders, China geographically shares boundaries with 14 countries. To the south of China lies Yunnan province, which borders Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar, and faces the city of Ruili in Dihan district. In 1971, Tao Jing was born in a small village on the outskirts of Ruili to a poor family. She and her older brother lived very modestly on their parents' meager income as plantation workers. One day, when Tao Jing was still in elementary school, she accidentally injured her leg while playing. Because of this, her teacher allowed her to go home early. However, when she opened the door to her house, little Tao Jing witnessed an adult scene involving her father and a neighbor woman. The poor little Tao Jing screamed hysterically and ran out of the house crying. Her story quickly spread, causing a commotion among the neighbors who began to gather at Tao Jing's house. Fortunately, there was no social media back then. If there had been, the neighbors would have immediately pulled out their phones to record the incident. The father's affair was eventually settled by the local headman, but from that point on, Tao Jing's family was never harmonious again. Despite being forgiven, the father continued his affair, and 2 years later, the parents decided to divorce. As a result of the separation, they agreed to share custody, with Tao Jing staying with her mother and her brother move in with their father. After the affair became the talk of the town, Tao Jing was teased by her classmates. On top of that, her mother, now a widow, had an accident at work that affected her physical condition. She could still work, but not as hard as before, making it difficult to provide a decent life for Tao Jing. They barely had enough to eat, let alone money for daily expenses. As a result, Tao Jing had to start working from a young age. The series of hardships in her life gradually changed her personality. The once cheerful girl became rebellious and aggressive. As she entered junior high school, Tao Jing became involved with a bad crowd, often skipping school, smoking, fighting, stealing mangoes, riding motorbikes dangerously, and shoplifting. By high school, Tao Jing had transformed into a beautiful teenager. Though still rebellious, she became the object of many boys' affection at school. However, none of them interested her except one boy. Let's call him Jia, a handsome and accomplished student from a wealthy family at their high school. Being in a relationship with Jia had a positive influence on Tao Jing, as her boyfriend managed to pull her away from her troublesome peers. However, they were both deeply infatuated and obsessed with each other, often skipping school just to spend time together. Unsurprisingly, their unhealthy relationship caused their grades to plummet. Tao Jing's mother was called to the school several times due to her daughter's truancy and poor grades. But when she tried to intervene in Tao Jing's relationship with Jia, Tao Jing became angry and even more rebellious. Long story short, both graduated high school in 1989. Jia managed to get into a mediocre university in Guangdong, which did not meet his or his parents' expectations. Meanwhile, Tao Jing had no intention of going to college. Besides her lack of interest and limited academic abilities, college required a significant amount of money that her mother couldn't afford. Jia then moved to Guangdong, while Tao Jing stayed in Ruili. The distance of over 2,000 km between them made Tao Jing feel lonely and lost. Worse still, a month later, Jia sent a breakup letter, claiming he wanted to focus on his studies and subtly blaming Tao Jing for his failure to get into a prestigious university. Tao Jing, unemployed and heartbroken, was left with no job, no college, and no boyfriend. Her mother suggested she work on a plantation to save money for college next year, but Tao Jing refused. She didn't want to end up like her mother, working on a plantation until old age with nothing to show for it. So, she packed her belongings and daringly moved to the city of Whorld without any skills, connections, or experience. There were not many job options available. Moreover, China was facing an economic recession at that time. There were too many unemployed people and not enough job opportunities. When Tao Jing arrived in the city, many young people from Whorld had already moved to other cities. But Tao Jing didn't want to gamble too much with her life. Her expectations were not high, she just wanted a job that would be enough to cover food and rent. However, she still failed to get a job at offices or small businesses. Eventually, she got a job as a shampoo girl at a men's hair salon. Interestingly, although it was called a salon, there were no combs, scissors, or other haircutting tools on the equipment for washing hair. In the 80s and early 2000s, salons like these were common in China and even in Indonesia. Usually, men would come to these salons at dusk for relaxation while getting a hair wash, along with a head, neck, and shoulder massage, costing around 10,000 to 15,000 rupiahs. But considering inflation, this amount was quite high at that time. Tao Jing's presence at the salon attracted many customers, with men even willing to wait in line specifically to have their hair washed by the beautiful Tao Jing. She was well aware of the nature of her workplace. Sometimes she felt envious of her colleagues who earned a lot of money when clients took them out for dates. A single date could fetch them an amount equivalent to Tao Jing's 3 months' salary. However, Tao Jing wasn't interested in that. She focused on being a shampoo girl and didn't want to make money by selling her body. While washing clients' hair, she often received proposals for dates, some for quick flings, others serious about becoming her boyfriend. But Tao Jing politely rejected all of them. I'm sorry if this seems harsh, but as an FYI, the men who frequented such salons were usually middle-aged, married men with average looks and income. Perhaps that's why none of them could win Tao Jing's heart. However, the story changed one day when a handsome, stylish young man walked into the salon. Tao Jing happened to serve him that day. His name was Bo, a native of Myanmar who owned a business in Whorld. He was handsome, sympathetic, and quiet. Unlike most of Tao Jing's other clients who were rowdy, Bo, despite his serious appearance and few words, was very respectful and considerate towards her. While getting his hair washed, he never made any inappropriate advances. One day, Bo came to the salon while Tao Jing was washing another client's hair. As he waited, Bo noticed that the man was being rude to Tao Jing. Bo grabbed the man's collar, dragged him out of the salon, and pushed him away. Bo's gentlemanly behavior melted Tao Jing's heart. She saw him as a good man. Bo started coming to the salon regularly for hair washes. If he came in the morning, he brought breakfast for Tao Jing. If he came in the afternoon, he brought lunch. And if he came in the evening, he brought snacks. Let's just assume that by then, these vendors had already expanded to China. The point is, Bo tried to win Tao Jing's heart with gifts and attention. Over time, they grew closer. Their meetings at the salon turned into dates, like dinners or movie outings. One day, Bo asked Tao Jing to be his girlfriend, and she happily accepted. A month after they officially started dating, they moved in together. I feel bad for repeatedly mentioning Bo's name, but it's essential for the story. Living together, Bo financed all their living expenses, gave Tao Jing a generous allowance, and even sent money to her mother in the village. Bo confided to his girlfriend that he used to be a soldier but now ran an import-export business between Myanmar and China. Tao Jing was happy with her life. She felt she was on the right path, with a loving boyfriend, enough money, and possibly marriage on the horizon. However, over time, Tao Jing began to notice strange things about Bo's behavior and business. She never knew the specifics of his business, but it required them to frequently move. Moreover, Bo often left her alone for weeks, sometimes even a month. During his absences, Tao Jing couldn't contact him at all. She wondered if Bo had another woman or, worse, a wife and kids. Disturbed by these thoughts, one day, Tao Jing confronted Bo about his disappearances and accused him of cheating. Bo wasn't unfaithful, but he was unsure how to explain everything to Tao Jing. Finally, Bo decided to be honest about his life and business. He confessed that he was involved in the drug trade, smuggling narcotics produced in Myanmar into China. Yunnan province, often referred to as the Golden Triangle or Golden Crescent due to its border with Myanmar, Vietnam, and Laos, was notorious for drug trafficking. Whorld where Bo and Tao Jing lived, was a gateway for both legal and illegal goods from Myanmar. Since the 18th century, drugs, initially known as opium, had been a significant issue for the government, which still enforced harsh penalties. Anyone caught distributing or trading drugs over 50 grams faced the death penalty. Tao Jing was stunned. Everything suddenly made sense. No wonder Bo had been able to pamper her with so much money. The drug trade was indeed that lucrative. However, Tao Jing also understood that the penalties for drug trafficking were severe. She realized that she might get caught up in Bo's illegal activities. Tao Jing couldn't accept that her boyfriend was a drug dealer, nor did she want to endanger her life. As a result, she decided to break up with Bo. Tao Jing packed her belongings, left Bo, and returned to her village. But upon arriving home, her mother discovered that she was pregnant. With no income and hardly any savings, Tao Jing felt incapable of raising a child on her own. Therefore, she went to a clinic and terminated the pregnancy. Tao Jing felt desolate. Her spirit was shattered. Her body was damaged. Her mother was aging, and her health was deteriorating. Tao Jing could no longer support her mother, even though she deeply wished to make her happy. She could barely feed herself. A few days after returning from the clinic, Tao Jing was surprised to find Bo standing at her mother's door. He apologized and said he couldn't live without her. Bo pleaded for a little more time to gather money, promising to leave the drug business forever. He assured her they could buy a house, start a business, and live a simple family life. Tao Jing, still deeply in love with Bo, believed in his sincerity. They both said goodbye to her mother and headed back to Whorld. Upon arrival, Bo learned about the pregnancy. Tao Jing requested that they use contraception. Bo agreed, saying they weren't ready for a child, as it would interfere with their plan to save money. Tao Jing agreed, and they went to a clinic for contraceptives. Initially, everything went smoothly, returning to normal. However, after a few months, Tao Jing began to question the little time Bo had asked for. Bo assured her he just needed to work hard for a while longer to gather enough money before retiring from the illegal trade. But how long would that take? Months or years? Bo replied that he needed a maximum of 2 years, but added they could save faster if Tao Jing helped. Bo proposed that Tao Jing assist him in smuggling drugs from Myanmar across the Chinese border. While risky, he claimed to know how to stay safe, saying only the careless ones got caught. Initially, Tao Jing refused, but she began to reconsider as Bo explained that drug trading in Myanmar was not problematic. The difficulty was crossing the border. He noted that over the years, only men were thoroughly inspected at the checkpoint, while women, especially attractive ones, received more lenient treatment. Once across the border, it would be safe. All Tao Jing had to do was take a bus to Kunming, where Bo's contact would collect the goods. With Bo's persistent persuasion, Tao Jing asked for time to think it over. Meanwhile, Bo took her to Myanmar to relax and enjoy a few days vacation, first trip abroad in Tao Jing's life. She had so much fun that eventually, she agreed to help Bo smuggle drugs across the border. Bo then showed her a bank book containing about 2,000 yuan, approximately 1 million rupiah at the 1990s exchange rate. He said this was their savings for their future and assured her that he had also set aside money specifically for her mother. Bo promised that if anything happened to Tao Jing, he would give the money to her mother and continue sending her money annually. Feeling more confident, Tao Jing accepted the mission. A few days later, a woman arrived and handed a package of drugs to Bo. The package was discreetly packaged to fit under Tao Jing's underwear. Bo and Tao Jing then boarded a bus, and just before reaching the border, Bo got off, handed her a small bag, and instructed her to stay calm and act naturally while passing through the border checkpoint. After passing the checkpoint, Tao Jing was to remove the package and place it into the small bag, then take a bus to Kunming. The following afternoon, she was to go to a small alley beside the Kunming Children's Hospital. There, a man wearing a white baseball cap and carrying a black bag would meet her. She was to hand over the package to this man, then return to their apartment in Whorld. Bo assured her he would follow in a few days. Bo then left, and Tao Jing nervously approached the border checkpoint. As Bo had predicted, the guards allowed her to pass without inspection, seeing her as a pretty girl with few belongings, arousing no suspicion. Following Bo's instructions, Tao Jing reached Kunming, and the next day, on October 8, 1991, she went to the alley beside the children's hospital. Arriving early, Tao Jing wore a lovely dress and held the small bag containing the drugs. She anxiously scanned her surroundings. A few minutes later, a tall, thin man wearing a white baseball cap and carrying a black bag approached and asked if she was Tao Jing. She nodded, and he asked for the package. Tao Jing handed over the small bag. The man opened it, inspected, and even squeezed the package several times. Feeling nervous, Tao Jing pleaded, "Please don't open it here." The next moment, the man pulled out a pair of handcuffs and immediately cuffed her, dragging her into a car. Tao Jing trembled in fear as her worst nightmare unfolded. The car stopped at the Kunming Drug Enforcement Bureau. In the interrogation room, Tao Jing stated, "My name is Tao Jing, I'm 20 years old, from Ruili, Dihong, and this is my first time." The officer remarked, "Everyone we catch claims it's their first time. You're very young. Why are you involved in drug trafficking? We've already arrested all your contacts in Kunming. Who is your supplier? Who gave you this package?" Tao Jing remained silent, thinking to herself that if she said the package was given by a COD courier, the officer wouldn't believe her. The officer continued, "You were caught red-handed with 200 grams of drugs. You know that 50 grams is enough to send you to the gallows. But if you cooperate with us, since this is your first arrest, we will recommend a lighter sentence. You won't face the death penalty." Tao Jing stayed silent, her lips sealed tightly. After several hours of deadlock due to Tao Jing's refusal to provide any confession or information, the officers finally sent her to prison. Given the gravity of the case, Tao Jing's feet were shackled. A few days later, the police obtained information from other detainees that Tao Jing was the girlfriend of the person who supplied the drugs from Myanmar. Tao Jing was reinterrogated. The officers sympathized with her, trying to convince her that she had been used by her boyfriend to commit a major crime under the guise of love. One officer said, "You are just a tool for him. He might even have other women. If you cooperate and reveal his identity and whereabouts, we will ensure you avoid the death penalty." However, the stubborn Tao Jing still refused to speak. At the first trial, Tao Jing was immediately sentenced to death for trafficking a large quantity of drugs. In those days, the time between sentencing and execution was very short. The police did not want Tao Jing to needlessly lose her life protecting the real criminal, so they continued to persuade her, saying, "Until the day of execution, you still have a chance to avoid the death penalty if you cooperate." The police also brought Tao Jing's mother from the village to persuade her. Yet again, Tao Jing remained silent. At the second trial, the execution date was set for October 28, 1991. Everyone hoped Tao Jing would change her mind and talk, but it was in vain. Tao Jing remained mute. The day before the execution, a policeman visited Tao Jing's cell and said, "Don't be foolish. There's no point in protecting that man. Think of your elderly mother who needs you. You still have a chance to avoid the death penalty and receive a lighter sentence." But Tao Jing stayed silent. Finally, the policewoman asked, "What are your last wishes? Please, tell me." Tao Jing said, "I have two requests. First, please remove the contraceptive device from my body, and second, I want to see my mother one last time." That same day, on a simple operating table in the prison, Tao Jing underwent the procedure to remove her contraceptive device. Afterward, the police gave her clothes, shoes, and a meal prepared by her mother. Here's the photo of Tao Jing eating her last meal. The next day, on October 28, 1991, Tao Jing and the other death row inmates were escorted to the execution site. Before getting into the vehicle that would take her there, Tao Jing had a chance to see her mother. Her father and her long-lost brother were also present. Tao Jing did not say anything to her father. To her brother, she said, "If you care about me, please take care of our mother after I'm gone." Then she turned to her mother and simply said, "Mother, dear, forgive me." Tao Jing's life ended that day at the very young age of 20. The real reason why Tao Jing never revealed Bo's identity remains a mystery to this day. Did she love Bo so much that she didn't want to betray him and see him hang? Was Tao Jing afraid that her family's safety would be jeopardized if she revealed Bo's identity? Or did she hope that after her death, Bo would take care of her mother? In reality, Tao Jing's mother never received any money from anyone until she passed away. Bo was never caught. If that scoundrel is still alive, he is likely over 50 years old now, whether he is in Myanmar, China, or another country. What do you think? Did Bo truly love Tao Jing? Or did he always intend for her to be his drug mule? Please share your thoughts in the comments. As we reflect on Tao Jing's tragic story, we're left with many unanswered questions. Was she a young woman blinded by love? Or was she coerced by fear for her family's safety? Did Bo ever care for her? Or was she merely a pawn in his dangerous game? Unfortunately, the truth may never be known. What remains clear is the devastating impact of drug trafficking, not just on the individuals directly involved, but also on their families and communities. Tao Jing's tale serves as a poignant reminder of the harsh realities of the world of narcotics and the heavy price some pay. Her silence and ultimate sacrifice leave us contemplating the complexities of human emotions and relationships in the face of dire circumstances. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Tao Jing's life. If you found this story thought-provoking, please give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future stories. Until next time, take care and stay safe. Goodbye!